Hey everybody, Thomas Love here, Bellapock Realty. I'm coming at you from our studio. We have an in-house podcast studio here at our office at 118 West Adams Street, central downtown Jacksonville. I'm very pleased to be able to come at you from this studio. Very proud of it. Wanted to take just a few moments to talk with you about the real estate market and what's happening and what interest rates are doing. I'm going to divide this brief little conversation, if you will, into what is relevant for both buyers and sellers individually. And we're going to start off with buyers. For the buyers out there, there are a lot of you who are afraid. Let's face it, there's no better term to use. You're afraid of what is happening and what may happen. You're afraid of the unknown, especially when it comes to interest rates. Interest rates are a lot higher than they were a relatively short time ago. And that's weighing heavily on everyone's mind because I hear it from you every day. I hear what you're concerned about. I hear what you're worried about. And interest rates are near the top of that list. There are a few things along those lines that I wanted to point out that are worthy of consideration as you face the housing market and try to make a decision as to when you will or will not jump into the housing market. And I would like to spend a little bit of time just putting some of the interest rates in perspective. As of the time of this recording, interest rates are right about 7.5%. There actually, I would argue, lies some opportunity there. Interest rates are widely anticipated to decrease between now, which is May of 2024, through the end of this year. I am in agreement with a lot of what some experts say when the anticipated outcome of reduced rates is going to be increased demand. And I think if you wait as a buyer for interest rates to come down, a number that I hear a lot is 5% or somewhere in the five, let's say, that the competition that you are going to be up against is going to be expounded to threefold. And as a result of that increased competition and increased demand, prices are going to be going up. So I think it's actually detrimental to wait for interest rates to come down because everybody's doing that right now. And sometimes moving with the herd is not the answer. It's not the key to solving a problem. I would actually suggest getting in the market sooner rather than later. So how do you combat those interest rates, which are currently high and sitting, like I said, right around 7.5%? Well, there are tools that can be used. And like on some of the listings that I have right now, for instance, the sellers have agreed to offer what's called a 2-1 rate buy down. So at the seller's expense, they are buying down your rate for the first 2 years of ownership. So the way it works, year one, you're going to be looking at an interest rate that's 2 full points lower than the current interest rate, than the interest rate that you would otherwise get. Let's put it that way. At year two, it resets to 1 full point below that interest rate. And then at year three, it resets at the interest rate that you normally would have gotten at the beginning of the process without a rate buy down. So what you're doing with this valuable tool is you are creating affordability. As interest rates go down, you can potentially refinance if the numbers warrant it, if it's worth it, or at the very worst case, like I said, in year three, you're going to reset to the number that you would have been at anyway. So, with that in mind, it's a great way to get into the real estate market and sort of overcome that initial concern of high rates. And then as time goes on, and hopefully as rates decline, you'll be in a good position to handle them. Now, of course, I would only recommend this if you can actually afford the full rate, because as I mentioned, the decreased rate or the reduced rate is just temporary. So that's important to keep in mind. Moving along to sellers, a lot of times what I'm finding are reluctant to sell because they're reluctant to become buyers. So it's sort of a domino effect that we're seeing. And not to exaggerate, it's a challenging time to sell right now because demand from buyers is relatively low. So if you go into the market with your eyes wide open to that fact, I think you'll be in a good position and you'll be prepared to deal with it. Be prepared, I would say, to offer certain concessions. Back to the 2-1 rate buy down that I mentioned, very valuable tool, very valuable selling tool. It's something that you can use to spur buyers to purchase your property, whereas they may otherwise be too nervous to do so. Not because of lack of appeal of your property, but because of interest rates. We're seeing that a lot right now. So every bit of incentive that you can muster to make it worthwhile to a buyer, I think would be well worth it. Guys, I hope this information is helpful. If you like this content, please like us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It would be very, very helpful. We've got more videos like this coming your way very, very soon. We'll see you on the next one.